So wanted to really start this morning telling you just about some of the other headlines there are as we continue to wait for rules on the state's gun and magazine or parts registry. That opens October 1st. Look at the calendar, it's September 1st. The deadline is January 1st to register. A lot of people focusing in on that. But we're also still waiting for any kind of outcome from the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals that has the challenge against Illinois' gun and magazine ban on Second Amendment grounds still pending. Plus, next month, October 11th, you've got the Southern District of Illinois set to hear vagueness arguments from Attorney Thomas Magg, and that could move to possibly be arguments challenging the registry and the gun law on Fifth Amendment grounds. So all of that's still pending here in Illinois. But news yesterday, the U.S. Supreme Court has decided to take up a separate Second Amendment case, Rahimi, where you've got an individual who is prohibited from having firearms because of a domestic order. And the question is, do these types of things prevent an individual from having a Second Amendment right? So obviously the Rahimi case, the U.S. Supreme Court now has, and they've scheduled oral arguments for November. So that's just one case. In a separate case across the country, you've got a judge that has, barred Rare Breed Triggers from selling its forced reset trigger, FRTs, until further notice. And the company was trying to essentially sue the state, and this was in New York, where they tried to have the ability to have these, and even after a judge said you can't sell them, they continued to sell them. But a judge barred them yesterday from selling any more of those triggers. So that's another lawsuit across the country impacting people's access to firearms. Yet even another headline: you've got California that apparently is looking at their proposed 28th Amendment, which would amend the U.S. Constitution to do a variety of things about the Second Amendment. It would enshrine in the Constitution broad gun control policies that they call gun safety policies. Like, for instance, increasing the age from 18 to 21, mandating universal background checks, barring civilians of purchasing, quote, assault weapons that they supporters of this amendment say serve no purpose. But then you get further down into some new proposals on this proposed 28th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, and it would exempt police and government officials from their proposed ban on semi-automatic firearms. So you've got the publication Bearing Arms quoting Claire Wolfe, a libertarian, who says, when only cops have guns, it's called a police state. So again, some more just back and forth about the purpose of the Second Amendment and what exactly it's there for. And some say the Second Amendment's only there for hunting. Well, if you read the actual plain language, it's there for the security of a free state, which I think is something that we all can understand isn't just free and secure from deer or pheasant or fowl or whatever the case may be. But you've got on the aspect of hunting, here's a couple of headlines. Bipartisan group seeks to stop Biden canceling archery and hunting in schools. Republican and Democrat lawmakers seeking to block the Department of Education's move to cease funding for school archery and hunting programs under the guise of implementing the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act passed last year. So the program obviously is something that you've got a lot of eyes on there, as you know, the question of how to ensure that kids are taught at an early age to respect firearms. And that's something I think that we all want to make sure is clear. Gun safety, firearm safety, hunting, archery, getting kids into the outdoors. All of these things are important, but apparently there's a move to try to limit hunting and archery in schools, which you've got a bipartisan group pushing back against that. So that's just a sampling of some of the stuff that's going on across the country when it comes to issues around the Second Amendment. And hopefully, we can together just continue to be as plugged in as possible as to what's happening to the Second Amendment and the arguments back and forth and where the trajectory is in the courts. But the latest in Illinois, still no ruling from the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals. We're awaiting a ruling or a ruling from there. We're awaiting a hearing down in the Southern District, October 11th. on a vagueness argument against the gun and magazine ban. We're also still waiting on those rules from Illinois State Police about the gun registry that opens October 1st with a January 1st deadline to file an affidavit or face criminal penalties. That is if the law is upheld. All right. Follow me anywhere. Bishop on Air. It's real simple. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Like, subscribe, do all that. Again, just search Bishop on Air. If you want to chime in, you can do so by emailing me, bishoponair@gmail.com. Again, bishoponair@gmail.com. Or if you're watching live, you can call in at 217-629-7970.